हेलो।
Hello, Bhupen.
Nobody is here.
Yeah, exactly.
अरे यार।
No one is here,
So they,
so
they are not
that's
joining or what?
I have asked if someone, Stephen asked me to do demo from Google. So I said okay, but she is not available, it seems. And for demo 2, there is some Kelly show Dubai. Yeah, at least
What happened,
team
sir?
lead should join,
I'm
right?
not getting.
At least team lead should be
Yeah,
joined.
yeah.
They're also not joined. So that's it.
But I see, like someone sent a message in the group. I think Ashay and someone is going to present the demo.
No,
Send this message.
who said?
I saw some message. Let me check, sir.
Okay,
Ashay and someone is going to present, I think.
okay. For demo two, right? For assignment three.
Yes, yes, for the demo.
What about group one?
Anjana sent a message in group to like Ashay and
Sam
Tomioma or
Calisho.
someone is there.
Sam Calisho, right?
No, 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 no. Ashay, yeah, Ashay and Sam. Yes, yes. Ashay and Sam,
Mm,
they are going to present. But I think some timing issue is there. I think they don't know like it is 9 p.m. they have to attend.
I have already sent message for this.
Yes, yes, yes. I can see that, but people are aware with this, I
In every
guess.
group. बेटा मोबाइल देना से कॉल आ गया. Anjana is calling. Just wait 1 minute. Hello, Anjana.
Anjana is not here, sir.
Anjana is joining. At least co-mentors, team leads should join.
Don't know, sir. Don't know what happening.
भाई साहब आगे से ऐसा होगा तो पूरे वीक का डेम कैंसिल हो जाएगा. आई विल कैंसिल ऑल द टेबल जितने भी वीक्स पे.
कर दो सर। एक्चुअली है ना, अभी क्या है कि लोग बाग पता नहीं, मेरे को तो ऐसे ही समझ आता है कि उनको कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा।
यार मैं ये बताओ डेमो हमारे लिए है क्या?
बात
मतलब हमारे और आपके लिए है क्या डेमो?
डेमो देख के भी, डेमो भी कोई देख नहीं रहा ना सर। कोई रिपीट करके तो देख नहीं रहा। वो अटेंड करते हैं, चले जाते हैं, फिर कोई रिपीट तो कर ही नहीं रहा। वो क्वेरी वॉइस होते सब अभी मेरे को एक ने मैसेज किया कि उसको एसएसएच नहीं हो रहा, अब मैं उसको क्या जवाब दूं? रिसेंट मैसेज अभी थोड़ी देर पहले का, वो कह रहा है कि एसएसएच नहीं हो पा रहा मेरा, अब मैं उसको क्या जवाब दूं?
बोलो भैया अब तुम जाओ, तुम्हारा
कि
हो
अभी
गया
भी
आज तो।
एसएसएच करना ही सीखे हैं।
हाँ तब यू कैन नॉट प्रोसीड फर्दर। बोल दो ट्राई लो भैया, तुम्हारे से नहीं हो पाया, छोड़ दो। अभी तक इतना भी सीख नहीं पाए, क्या बोल।
वहाँ एडब्ल्यूएस में लैम्डा फंक्शन का एक किसी ने पूछ लिया तो उन्होंने बोला कि यार ठीक है हम बता रहे हैं बट यू हैव टू नो अबाउट दिस, जस्ट सर्च इट। वो ज़्यादा एक्सप्लेन भी नहीं करते क्योंकि वहाँ इतना सब लोग आते हैं, तो वो कहते हैं अपने आप से करो सब कुछ। और
बेसिक
यहाँ
नॉलेज
उनको
वी शुड
एसएसएच
हैव,
करना ही
आई मीन
सिखा
वी
रहे
शुड
हैं।
वी शुड हैव बेसिक नॉलेज, राइट।
No, sir, not the basic actually. In that also they are saying if you are in this community then you have to be on that level. Then only it will be work out because अभी उनका मैं आई सीरियसली सर, अभी आप उनका अभी अलाउड नहीं है, अदरवाइज उनका मैं अगर आपको सेशन दिखाऊं ना तो मेरे तो बिल्कुल मेरे सिर के ऊपर भी 6 फीट हाइट से सब निकल रहा है, वो समझ ही नहीं आ रहा क्या हो रहा है। तो ये क्या लाइंस ऑफ कोड दिखाते हैं वो लोग, लाइक वहाँ की। और कोड भी ऐसा नहीं है कि 100 200 2000 3000 ऑफ कोड आर देयर।
राइट राइट राइट।
अभी अगर इनको अगर ऐसा कोई प्रोजेक्ट दिखा देंगे तो 2 साल लगेंगे इनको समझाने में।
सही कह रहे हो। सो हु हैज ज्वाइंड।
Sam is there, Anjana is there. Sam, are you going to
एक्चुअली
present the demo?
Hello, Sam.
Hello, sir.
हेलो सैम, हाउ आर यू?
I'm okay, sir. How are you?
सो व्हाट इज टाइम देयर?
Sir, I think now there's an issue. I don't know, maybe because I received a notification saying that 18:30. Right now it's 17:45. I don't know,
ओके
maybe
ओके
yeah.
ओके। सो
Because I am using the same time zone as Praveen Mishra say.
एग्जैक्टली।
Yes.
So it
So now
means
I'm seeing on
okay.
my
Hmm.
the
Right.
on the message is saying 18:30. So I was holding on to that.
Okay. So
So
what is time in EET right now? Just let me check.
okay.
What is time in minute? So if we see, the time is EET time is already 6:46 p.m. Getting me? If you see ET time, then what is ET time? It's already 6:46. It means 18 hours 46 minutes.
On EET.
Yeah, please check it. What is ET time?
All right. So let me check that
Mm-hmm.
quickly. Because normally when I'm joining in the morning, when we say 7:30 EET,
Mm-hmm.
this side it will be 7:30 as well. Let me check real quick.
Okay, okay, okay.
See, we are having gadgets and world clock is there. See, so what I'm doing is in my case, like world clock is there, 3 4 clocks are there. So I'm just putting it on my desktop. So whenever time is coming like 5:30, 6:30, so
Yeah.
6:30, like so I'm just looking for Helsinki time. Okay, this is what is the thing. So there won't be any confusion for this. So just do like that. We are having gadgets, we are having widgets in that. So you have to add that widgets so that it will be easy. Like there will be no need to go for like.
Yes, I understand because I normally follow the EET time and every time if it's 5:30, even here it will be 5:30. So I don't know what's happening now. Even now when I'm checking on the
Mm-hmm.
time zone, the converter, it's showing me 5:30 is 5. Let me take a screenshot. Say, let me show you.
No, what is ET time? What you can see there?
I've sent you a screenshot. 5:30 is 5:30 p.m. this side. I've sent a screenshot on WhatsApp.
भूपेंद्र जी बताओ यार, ईटी टाइम क्या हो रहा है आपके यहाँ?
कौन सा ईटी टाइम बताऊं?
हम्म।
एक मिनट सर।
सर 6:48 हो रहा है।
यस
6:48, right?
यस सर।
But Sam, can you so send a screenshot? She's saying local time convert and the 5:30 p.m. is showing at there.
Sam, can you tell me your time zone?
I don't know.
Right.
Where is Sam? Where are you? I mean, in which country you are?
Yeah.
Zimbabwe,
Tell
Zimbabwe,
Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe, yes. CAT, check CAT, Central African Time.
It's showing 5:49 p.m.
It's showing you 5:49.
Yes.
So like if you put EET against CAT, what does it show?
Let me share.
what is your time zone? EET.
Central
Zimbabwe.
African Time. Central
Zimbabwe.
African Time.
Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
Zimbabwe.
Let's see if you-
Oh, CAT. Okay. CAT
Yes,
is
CAT.
like Zimbabwe time. So so for me it is 9:30. Then for like 3:30 hour difference is there.
So what I'm saying, Sepupenda, is that like when we have a meeting at 7:30 a.m. EET, even here it will be 7:30 a.m. Are you getting it?
What is the solution, Bhupen? How we will manage this time and all?
Sir, 6 p.m. like EET.
Yes, I
If we
also
are
can see.
comparing.
सर एक मिनट एक मिनट
Hmm.
एक मिनट एक मिनट
Okay.
मैं इस चैट में हो जाएगा क्या? सर मैंने चैट में एक इमेज भेजा है. I send an image on in chat so
Okay.
everyone can see this. Like there are 4 countries, different countries, whatever I required, so I can set accordingly. So I can check, okay, what is the time going on. So in when I will see in this, I will be able to know the current time.
Yeah, it's a Paris time, Sydney time, Tokyo time.
Tokyo time
But-
and
But it is different. Zimbabwe time zone is different and this Korea.
so they
different.
have to add Zimbabwe. So they are in Zimbabwe, they have to add Zimbabwe, then IST, then ET or Helsinki time. So they have to add.
Because I am following this world clock timer. So what I've noticed is that when it's 7 a.m. Helsinki, it's 7
Let
a.m.
me
Zimbabwe time.
Go for IST time zone. The best thing you can do. Go for IST time zone.
Okay, okay, just convert from IST to your time. I mean, your time to IST, something like that.
Okay, right now let me use IST.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
For
So right now it's
example,
showing 9 p.m. right now in India, right?
9:22.
9:22 right now.
9:22. Okay, because okay, I changed here. Let me use my own time. Right now it's 17:50. Yes, it's 9:20. That
9:20.
side. Yes, that's what I can see. Yes, India. So now when I convert it against the Helsinki time, it's the same time zone.
Okay.
Yes. So now when I'm getting notifications saying 18:30, I'll be thinking that it's 18:30 for me.
But exactly 18:30 is there in Helsinki. If you see, time is 18, I think 23, right?
Helsinki is EET, right?
Yes, right, right.
I don't know
See, I've
why
sent a
now
second
it's
screenshot. You can see that second screenshot. In that, I am having this is for my current work for all. Like for New Delhi is my time, New York for my AWS time, Helsinki for DMI, and
Yes,
for this for
yes. See
AWS
this screen,
AWS group.
this screen. You can see this screen.
yes, yes.
Helsinki time is 6:50 right now.
Right now it is 6:50
Okay.
for Helsinki. Okay, so you can add the widget like this. So for me, I'm living in India, so I have set it New Delhi. For you, you can set your country, then Helsinki time you can add in that. So suppose if someone is messaging you 6:30, so you can watch this clock Helsinki one. So you
So
will be able to know, okay,
so
what is the
Bhupendra,
current time.
how can she do? Do you have any step, anything she can do same thing on their system?
Maybe.
So it is the widget in the Windows. I think they can download the widget and it can happen. There's a gadget. It's a gadget, built gadget.
Okay, I think I would do that. Say I would do that. Even on my phone, right? I can do the same thing.
Okay, okay.
Yes, I would do that. I
You
would do
can
that. Thank you so much.
uh, yeah, from the we can say in Windows there is like Play Store is there, na? Windows my App Store is there.
App
From the
Store,
App
yes.
Store you can download the widget World Clock widget you can download, and accordingly you can
Yes.
add the countries. So it will be easy for you to find the times. For me, see,
Okay. So
I am done.
uh,
I have done this thing, so there's no need to. There is no need go to the internet, and we have to check this clock you can see. So you will be able to know, okay, what is the current time right now.
all right. Say thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'll put it on my phone. Thank you. Say.
Yeah, on your phone, in your laptop, PC, whatever you are using, you can add this. Okay.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Say thank you so much.
Okay. No problem. From tomorrow, just set your time accordingly. Okay.
Yes. Thank you so much. Say I would do that. I would do that.
Okay. 1, 2,
Yes.
3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, then we can start because Group 1 student Stephen will take some time. So we can start from your demo. Okay.
Oh
Okay, sir.
yes. Yes.
Okay, so Asha is here for present the demo.
Yes, please go ahead. Thank you.
Asha, are you
I'm
ready?
sharing a link using this link. Wait, I link
Okay,
and using
okay.
this link you can download the widget. I have sent it.
Okay,
Thank
thank you.
Okay. Thank you, say Bhupendra.
Asha, you can share your screen. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Trying to. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm trying to.
You can turn off your
Okay,
video, no
let
problem.
me
Okay, you can
let
turn
me
off your
join.
video if there is some issue. You can turn off your video, no problem. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh my God. Please. Hello, good evening, everyone. Okay, so my name is Ashai Adetomiwa. I'll be presenting this demo session for Everybody has to see my face before I even go off video.
Are you sharing your screen?
Yeah. Hello? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay,
If you
okay,
have connection problems, you can turn off the video. It's okay.
okay. I would like for everybody to see my face first before I turn off my video.
Okay. You can turn off.
So I know my network is a bit unstable, but at least let them know that, okay, I'm the one presenting. Sir Pravin can see my face. All right, let me turn off my video now. Okay, let me share my screen. I think my network should be more stable now. Okay. Sharing my screen. Can we see my screen?
No, we can't see still.
How about now?
We can see now.
Oh, okay. So, Sir Pravin, I thought Group-1 was meant to present before now.
Right
Sorry,
now,
I'm here.
who is
Good
here?
evening.
Oh,
Stephen
okay,
is
okay, okay.
here.
I was thinking that the time difference affected
Okay,
Nigeria. I didn't
if
know.
okay, no problem at all. Just note your this 21 hours IST. Okay,
Okay.
we have discussed almost 15 minutes about this time.
Okay, so Sir Pravin, the
Um,
time still stays the same.
Uh, I say, are you comfortable? Then you can start. Okay.
okay, sir. I'm so sorry. Okay. Hi, everyone.
Okay.
My n-
Stephen is going to start for demo one, assignment one. Okay.
okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
After
sir.
that, you can proceed further. Sam and group two. Okay,
Okay.
guys. Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay,
All
sir.
right.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Stephen, please go ahead. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Hi, everyone. My name is Stephanie Afnogo from Group-1. Okay. I'll be presenting demo for assignment 1, week 13, which involves setting up self-hosted Linux agents for Azure DevOps and running a pipeline on our virtual machine instead of using Microsoft hosted agents. So before I start, I would like to touch some distance. Like first is explaining what a pipeline is so that we all can flow along. A pipeline is a process that automates tasks like building, testing, and running commands on code. Instead of doing things manually, the pipelines handle everything automatically. Yeah, it's more like instead of doing that, although we are going to do them on that, we are going to run some commands using pipeline. We see how it goes without us doing it manually, typing it on our terminal. That's what we are going to do without wasting much of our time. Okay, let me move to. I would also like to talk about agents. What agent is? Agent is the machine that actually runs those tasks. So when a pipeline is triggered, the agent is the responsibility of the agent to carry out those tasks, to execute those commands. And we have two types of this thing. There are two types of agents. We have Microsoft hosted and self-hosted. The difference is that Microsoft hosted agent is the one that handles by Azure. We don't have full control over it. Why the one we have, why self-hosted agents is the one that we have control over it. It's like us having our own virtual machine. We customize what we like on it. We have the full, we have the right and the control, more control over the environment, which is that's what we are going to be using, the self-hosted agents instead of Microsoft hosted agents. So we are going to be doing that in our demo. We are going to do the installation, download, install, and start the agent. So you see it's running. Okay, let's go to Udemy. I would like to share my screen so that we can forge ahead. Permit me, I'm coming. Let me share my screen. Okay, can you guys see my screen?
It's
Please,
coming.
someone should come. Okay,
Yes,
okay,
yes, yes,
okay.
yes.
Let me go to Udemy. Here is the instruction for the. Okay, the step one says create a personal access token (PAT). Generate a new PAT in Azure DevOps with scopes for agent pool. Then for agent pool, we are going to give it read and manage, and build. We are going to enable read and execute. Then we install it securely because we are going to make use of it along the line. So let's move to our Azure DevOps. Here is our lab. Here is the interface. For me to create the PAT, I'll click on this user settings beside my profile icon. Click on user settings, move to personal access token, click on it, then click on new token, enter the name. I've already created one, so I'm not going to create another one. This is your organization. I just want to explain how to do it in case. Then you can choose the expiration dates. I'll be going with 30 days. You can choose 60 or 90, depends on what you want. You can even customize. There's room for customizing if you like, if you want any choice. So another thing is under scopes, don't be tempted to use this full access. Always click on this one. Then from there, if you do not see the one you are looking for, feel free to click on this shows all scope, so you can be able to look for the one under build. We need this one. We are going to enable read and execute. Another one is pull. Let's look for it. I just want to show. I'm not going to create another one, but for us to understand. Okay, just search for it. Oh, why am I not seeing it? Connect server, build audits, and okay, agents. Then you click on this, enter your access token name, and next you create. But we are not going to do that because I've already created one and I've copied out the key securely. So let's go back to our Udemy to see the next step. The second step here is to create an agent pool. The question says in your Azure DevOps organization settings, not project settings, because if you mistakenly create the this thing under project settings, I don't think it will work. It will not work properly because this agent pool needs to register under organization. So you must have to create it under organization settings for it to work properly. So let me show you that. I'm going to, okay. make sure you are under organization settings. Click on organization settings. Scroll down under pipeline, you see agent pool. Under agent pool, at default, these two are going to be here. So click on add pool, then choose self-hosted. Enter your name, your new agent pool name, then you create. But I'm not going to do that. I already have one. I'll be using this for my project for now. So we have created our self-hosted pool. Back to our Udemy. Okay. Step 3 says provision the virtual machine. We are going to create an Ubuntu virtual machine using either AW, but I will be using Azure. Ensure SSH access is configured, and we are going to be enabling these two ports, port 22 and port 443. Then we verify our connectivity with SSH login. Let's move to creating our virtual machine. Okay. Okay, first of all, permit me to create security sorry, resource group. Okay. So agent region. I'll be creating it under this region. Review and create. We are good to go. Okay. Now, next is let's create our virtual machine for the agent. Okay, let's choose our resource group, the one that we created earlier. Then the name of our virtual machine will be, let me get the name. Okay, self-hosted agent. Okay, all good. All good. We are going with this size. Then SSH, our username, Azure user. We are keeping it there. Then our SSH agent key. Let's use this name for our key pair name. And that thing is to enable port 22 and port 443. Move to next. Okay. Okay. All good. It's working. Okay. Next. Review and create. Okay. Great. Next is to download our SSH key. Okay. Okay. Now, and next thing is for us to check our connectivity. We are going to, okay, let's wait for it to deploy first so that we can copy our public IP. I'll first change the permission. So change more. Okay. Okay, let's copy the first. Let's change the permission. After changing the permission, let's SSH. Okay. Okay. Fingerprints. Okay, we are in. Yeah, we are enabled. We have connected to our virtual machine, showing that it works. Let me go to our Udemy. Okay, verify connectivity with which we have done that. We're now in step 4. Step 4 says install and configure the agent. On the VM, install the required dependency and download the latest Azure Pipelines agents package for Linux. For Linux, because though when we get there, we see that there's one for Mac, for Windows. We are going for Linux since we are using VM. Configure the agent using your organizational URL, which I will show you how to copy our URL. Then the part, the key that the personal access token that we created earlier. Register it under the agent pool you created. Install and start the agent as a system service. Let's quickly do that. For us to get the download the listen, you need to go to our self-hosted, then add new agent. These are the one that I did before. And this one is for Windows, Mac. We are going for Linux. So we are going to download the agent by copying this URL, then down to our virtual machine. We'll be making use of this command wget. The another option you can actually use call hyphen capital O, but let's use this popular one that we all know. That all the same. Wget. Then paste your URL. Hit enter. Then after that, next is to create a folder called my agent and move into the directory. We're going to be making use of this command. Copy. Okay, we are done. As you can see, we are now inside my agent directory. Now it's for us to configure the agent using this /config .ssh command. But okay, before that, before the configuration, inform me please. Before the configuration, I need to move the downloaded file into this our current directory, this our present directory, using this mv. Then the file is in our home directory, so now I will be adding this slash the file name. I'll copy the file name and paste, then specify the this thing, which is our current folder, so I'll be using that. Okay, let me confirm. Yes, it's already here. Next thing is to unzip the this thing because it's in compressed form. So we need to unzip it using this command. Then I can actually use this white tag, since that's the only compressed file that we have in this our present directory. Or I can actually do it the other way, normal way that we all do it, that we used to do it. Maybe compress this file. Or let me use the white tag. That one is neater. If you don't want to see those display unpacking on packages, you can actually remove this v to make our work neater. Let's remove it. Then let me use white tag. Then let's see how it goes. It's not found. Okay, let's use the normal distance normal command. I was thinking that it's going to work. Okay, we are done extracting it. Next is for us to configure our agent. In this configuration, we are going to be needing our URL, the personal access token. Okay, press enter. Accept. Then enter your server URL. Let's go and get our URL. From here, enter. We are going to press enter because we are going to be using this P80. Enter. Then the request for the, let me get it. Connecting to server. Enter agent pool. Press enter for details. Our agent pool name. Here is our agent pool name. Let me get it. Then paste. Yes, you can actually change it though. Let's go for this our VM name. Successfully added. We'll be using this default work folder. Enter. Now, next, we are asked to. Where is our question? We are asked to register it under the agents pool you created. Install and start the agent as the system service. We can actually use this, but that one once we shut those offline. So I don't want that. So I'm going to install the one for service so as to stay online. I'm coming. Let me get the command. I'll be using this command sudo install sudo dot slash cvs dot sh install. Then next is to restart it. To start it. Okay, it's now online, enabled, active, and running. Let's check our Udemy. Okay, step 5 says confirm that the service is running on the VM and the agent appears online in the Azure DevOps Agents pool. Okay, let's check. Can you see our self-hosted agent VM1 is online? It's online. So let's check the next step to take. Okay, step 6 said run a test pipeline. Create a simple Azure pipeline that uses your self-hosted pool. Run basic shell command. This for uname -a shows the system info. Why this one? The current user, it shows us the current user. Then this one is for usage, this thing, disk usage. So without wasting much of our time, for us to do this step 6, for us to execute this step 6, first we have to create our repo on this Azure DevOps. Let's go back. I have already created a project. I'll be using this one for now. Okay. Under this our projects, I'll go to repo. To create a new repo, just click on this drop down. Click on new repo. Then give it a name. Allow this and do not uncheck it. Then you create. But I already have a repo and I will be using that. Next is go to your pipeline. Under pipeline, new pipeline. Click on new pipeline. Then click on Azure Repo Git. Choose that repo that you created earlier. I choose one. Click on starter pipeline. Then here you write your YAML file for your pipeline. I don't need this. I'll be removing this. For this should be our full name. And that thing is, why writing this, always be conscious of, if your this thing is started with capital letter, make sure you wrote it in capital letter, because Azure is sensitive of this capital letter. You cannot write in capital letter in small letter while your full name is in capital letter. So let me start. My own is written this way. Self-hosted pool. Okay. We have under step. Okay, from our this thing, we have three scripts. We are going to be running these three commands. So that should be three scripts. Script one. Okay. Script one is this one. Let's copy it. Then the display name should be show system info. Info. Okay. Script two. Let me get it so that it won't be as if I'm doing another thing. Who am I? Let's copy it. Then you don't need this. Okay. The display name should be show current user. Current user. Okay. We'll be needing another this thing. Another script for the okay. Let me get it. One, two. Display name. Show disk usage. Okay. We are good. Trigger main. This shows that each time we push any change to our main, it will trigger this pipeline to run automatically. You don't have to come back, start doing all this. We are using self-hosted pool, and we specified is specified here. Then we have three scripts to run. The first one is show system info. Second one, show current user, show this. All these command that we can manually do with ourselves. This time around, pipeline will be the one to handle, and our agents will execute those commands for us. Next is for us to run the listing to let's test what we actually did. Save and run. Okay, to give it permission, click on view, click on permission, then permission. Cute. How? Yes, no. Where is all this thing? Okay, it's running. Okay, here is the work of those display name that we added. Show the system info. Let's see. Here is the system info, the information. Then current user, Azure user, disk usage. Here is the information. So let's check our listen. I think we are done. Yeah, we are we have verified that the job executes. Yeah, this is the end of our assignments 1 week 13. Let me stop sharing. Oh, shit. Where did I drop my this thing? I want to stop sharing. I can't find my.
Yes, Asha, do you have any question?
No, I just wanted to know, do I
Okay,
start
sorry.
presenting or I wait for Sir Pravin?
Uh,
Ashaya, please, is my screen still showing? I'm trying to stop sharing my screen, but
And then
I
have
can't
a
find.
feedback loop that helps you self-improve.
you have stopped sharing your screen.
Yes, you have already stopped your sharing.
Okay,
So it's
okay,
okay.
thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Very well explained. Great. So it now we have a second assignment and it will be presented by Sam Kelso. So please go ahead, Sam.
So Asha is going to present the demo.
Okay, okay.
Asha, you can share your screen.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Asay, please go ahead. Thank you.
All right. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Yes, we can
Okay.
see.
All right. So I'll be joining on video. I think my network is better now. So if my network starts breaking, then maybe I'll switch to audio. All right. So good evening, everybody. My name is Ashayi Adetonwa, and I'll be presenting the demo session for assignment 2. All right. So first of all, the assignment instructions tells us that we should use the mini finance application for deployment in our Azure pipeline, as is written here, assignment 38, deploy mini finance project. But as we go through the assignment, we'll first of all see that the code base doesn't have the mini finance project, but we'll still use the mini finance project anyways. So starting, he said what we'll build is an Azure repos project containing this particular code base. So if I go ahead and open this, we'll see that the code base doesn't have the mini finance project. But what we'll have to do is so we'll be able to use it. So this is the project right here. This is the project right on. All right. So what we'll also be building an Azure DevOps pipeline. Hello?
Yes, we can hear
Yeah,
you.
we can hear you.
Can
Okay.
hear you.
Okay, my screen is showing here that my connection is unstable. That's why. So we're going to be building an Azure DevOps pipeline triggered on commit to main, meaning that once we make a commit to the main branch, then our Azure DevOps pipeline is going to trigger. Then we're also going to have an SSH connection to the virtual machine. It's going to be deployed and accessible. Our website is going to be deployed and accessible over port 80. And then we're also going to have our pipeline logs verifying that everything is successful. So the first instruction is to import the repository. So like I said, the repository that we're going to be using is this mini finance. Let me go over it again on how to navigate there. So we click on this Azure static website. All right. and then you can finally see the mini finance project here. So this is what we're going to be using. So the first step is to import the repository into Azure repos. So we'll have to go into Azure DevOps so we can make use of Azure repos. But to first of all make use of Azure repos, there has to be a project repository, right? So we have to first of all create the repository. I have a little documentation here that kind of explain some of the things that we're doing. So on your project, head to repo and import a repository. All right. So I've created an organization, and Stephanie has also shown that in the first session. So we can go into this organization and then create the project so that we can now make use of Azure repo. So let me call this mini finance. So the description, I can pick the description from here. I can come here and say deploy this. I can come here and then let me go back to my screen and then paste this here. Deploy mini finance project via Azure pipeline. So I go ahead to create the project. Now the next thing is confirm that the index of HTML are visible under your project. So once this is done, I'm going to import the repository. So this is Azure repos here. It's one of the features for Azure DevOps. So we're going to import the repository here by clicking on import repository. Now we're going to take the URL for the repository from GitHub. And then I wrote here in my documentation that while copying the repository URL, ensure that .git is part of what was copied. If not, it will not work. So one of the things to always ensure is while pasting, always make sure that your URL ends with .git. All right, so we import. So the next step is prepare the target virtual machine. So we're asked to use Terraform to create the Linux virtual machine in any cloud, either AWS or Azure, and then use Ansible to ensure Nginx is installed and serving content from this directory. We're also told to keep port 80 open and verify that we can SSH into the instance using username and password. So there's a Terraform configuration. I believe we know how to use Terraform to provision a Linux virtual machine. So I have a Terraform configuration here that lists out what we need to provision in terms of this is the provider block, this is the resource group, this is the virtual network, the subnet, everything that we need to actually do to create a virtual machine. So, and we already know how to do it, which is basically running the Terraform workflow of Terraform. Let's initialize this repository first. All right. Okay. Let me see if I'm in the repository. Oh, my network is slow. So this is already cloned, but they told us to verify something. They told us to confirm that the index.html are visible. So we can come here, see the index.html file present there. So let me take this away from here. All right, so the next thing is to run Terraform plan to see what we're going to, it's going to give us a rundown of what we're going to create. And then we run Terraform apply. So let me see my documentation if we need to create anything. Sorry? Hello?
No, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, okay, okay. All right, so these are the things that we'll be creating, 8 resources. So let's go ahead and run Terraform apply auto approve. Okay, before we run Terraform apply, I wanted to make mention of something important. So while performing this demo, there are two ways to actually go about it. If you are creating your key pair, if you are using this Azure Management Console, you have your key pair downloaded in your file manager, right? So if you are going to be making use of Terraform, and I'll be making use of Terraform in this case, I'm going to be creating my own SSH key. So before I run Terraform apply, let me show us how that works. So if I say ls home/.ssh, we'll see here that I've created a mini finance key pair here, the private key and the public key, and this is what we'll be using to SSH into our instance. And we know the command, the SSH-keygen command. And then from there, we can actually create our SSH key. So I've referenced it here. I've referenced the path to the public key. We go to our main.tf. We go to our main.tf. So the path to the public key is here, right? So it's shown in our variables file, var.public key path. So if I come down to our variable, we see it here. So that means if I come here and I go to home hp.ssh, I should be able to find it here. This is it here. So let me run Terraform apply -auto approve. So whilst that is creating, let's look at what we're told to do next. So we're already preparing the target virtual machine. So the next step is to create an SSH service connection. For us to be able to create an SSH service connection, we are going to need the public IP of our virtual machine, right? And then that is already creating with Terraform here. And then some of the other requirements are the name, Ubuntu Nginx SSH. This will be the name of our service connection. And then it's going to be using port 22, right? So from there, we can now create the pipeline, but there are other steps in between. I'm sure Sir Pravin left that for us to figure out, you know. So, well, yeah. So this is the next thing while creating the service connection. So let me just say a bit about it. If you create your project, if you want to create a service connection, one of the ways to do that is you go to your project settings. When you're in your project settings, you go to pipelines, and then you go to service connections to eventually create the service. If I was to show us here, this is my organization, right? So I can go ahead and go into my project, this mini finance project, right? Once I go into my mini finance project, I can go to, sorry, let me go back in. Pipelines. In your project settings, click on pipelines, service connections, and create service. So this is what I'm looking for. Project settings. So I scroll down to pipelines, and I scroll down to service connections. So I can go ahead to create a service connection. So that's how we go about creating a service connection. So once this is done, we'll go ahead and create our service connection. But while that is going on, I still want us to check some other things that, you know, find important. Now, in filling the details, please take note of the following. The host name is your virtual machine's public IP address. So when we are filling this, where is it? When we are filling this, once they ask us for the host name, our mind should go to the virtual machine public IP. The username is your virtual machine username. In our own case, is the Azure user. So if we go, I think yeah, this is it here. Admin username, Azure user. So our resources are done creating. I can open up WSL. And the reason why I'm going to be using WSL is because I'm using Ansible, just like it was specified here in the project. It was specified that you should use Ansible to ensure Nginx is installed. So I'm going to be using WSL, which is Ubuntu. So let me zoom my screen a little bit. So the first thing is I need to SSH into my virtual machine so that I can use Ansible to actually install this Nginx, or I can even make use of other commands. So basically, the first thing to do is this. Let me create an Ansible, an inventory.ini file. So I can create a folder. Let me name the folder Ansible. Then inside this folder, I can create a file called inventory.ini. So I have a piece of code that I use for my inventory.ini file whilst creating my Azure virtual machine. So I can copy this. And then what I'll need to change in this case is our public IP. Okay. All right. So let me go ahead and copy this. So paste this, right? The username is still Ansible user, and the SSH private key pair is still this. So moving on, let me go ahead to, let me confirm if my SSH key is present in this working directory, in this my Ubuntu, before I go ahead to run the SSH command. So I see my mini finance is present in there. So I can say SSH-I, right? Then I specify the path, right? Slash mini finance, then username is Azure user at, let me get the public IP. So go ahead and okay. All right, so we are in. So let's go ahead to check what the next steps is required of us. So the next step is to create a service connection. Like I said, let me go over this again. In order for us to create a service connection, we go to our project settings, right here, project settings. We go to pipelines, we scroll down to pipelines, and then you click on service connections, all right? So I have that tab opened up here. So I can go ahead and create a service connection. And then the service type is going to be an SSH. So go ahead and click this. Next. So like I said here, the host name is going to be your virtual machine's public IP. So go ahead here and get our public IP. We copy this, come here and paste this, right? As for the private key, since I use SSH keygen, my key is presently in my Ubuntu user, right? So I'm going to have to navigate to this particular directory where my key is left. It's not in my local system, it's in my WSL. So I have to look for this. Or I can come here and then maybe I cut this SSH key, something like this, cut home.ssh/minifinance. Oh, I'm already my Ubuntu user. Let me use the other method then. I don't want to exit from that user. So I can browse this, and then I go to my Ubuntu user right here. And then I know my key is in home, then .ssh, and I know this is it here, right? So I can add this, which is here. So if I decide to exit from this my server, okay, let's even go ahead and do it. it will be the same thing, right? So if I say cat home/.ssh/ mini finance 123, this is what I'm also going to be copying into this place. So it's practically the same thing. So then the username here is your VM username, which is Azure user, right? So go ahead and fill this in small letters, Azure user. Then the service connection name. The service connection name, we can give it any name we want. But lastly, they said we should always check the box that says grant access permission to all pipelines. So while we are creating this, we need to check this box here, grant access permission to all pipelines. So let me give it a connection name. So I can say mini finance service connection, mini finance service, or SCA, service connection name, SCN. So I can give a description, mini finance service connection name. And then remember to check this and then you save. So the next on after creating a service connection, we cannot create a pipeline yet because we need to create something else after that. We need to create our agent pool, right? Go to your organization and create an agent pool. So we have to be careful when running this. After the step 3, we need to create an agent pool before we go ahead to create our pipeline. So I've written here, if you want to create an agent pool, one thing we need to note is this: when you are creating an agent pool, is an organizational resource, is not a project resource. When we're creating the service connection, that is a project-based resource, is not an organizational resource. So you have to know the difference between these two. So when they say create a service pool, then the first thing that should come to your mind is that is an organizational resource. So if you look here, once you're in your organization, by the bottom left corner, you have organizational settings. So if you come here, our organization, by the bottom left corner, we should find something about our organization settings. Let me go into my organization. So organization settings right here. And then we scroll down to agent pool, just as it has been written here. Left panel, scroll down to where you have pipelines. Under pipeline, you see agent pools. Click on it and then add an agent pool. So we can go ahead to add an agent pool. So I've created some agent pool before. I can go ahead and delete them and create a new one for demo purposes. Just like I forgot the person who presented in Stephanie, just like Stephanie presented, she said there are 2 types of agent pools that can be created. There is self-managed and there is Microsoft managed. So these default are Microsoft managed agent pools, and then we can actually create self-hosted agent pools. So we can give our pool a name. I believe we're told we're told to create an agent pool, but it's not here. What I wanted to say is this: when we're creating the SSH service connection, I named my SSH service connection a different name, but we're meant to name it this Ubuntu Nginx SSH. So we have to follow this if we want to create a service connection. So I can go ahead and destroy that, but let's continue. So right here, we have an agent pool. We can call it self-hosted agent pool. So we can call it self-hosted agent pool, and then auto provision this agent in all projects. When I was creating this agent pool, it was funny because when I was trying to understand what agent and agent pool are, I was trying to remember how in class, when, let's say, for example, I want to give a general description of what an agent does, all right? It listens for jobs, right? Let me give an example. Let's say Sir Pravin comes now and says, Ashai, whoever is not joining video on this call, remove them. So what will I be doing? I'll be listening for who is not joining on video so that I'll be able to perform certain actions. So that's what an agent does in this particular case. That's just like a general explanation that he listens for jobs and then he performs certain actions after those jobs actually come. So that's just like a general overview of what an agent does. So moving on, we go ahead to, since we're going to be creating self-hosted agent, we have to create the agent, and then we click on new agent, or we click in here for new agents. And then we're going to be using Linux since I'm using this, right? And then I'll go ahead to download the agent and then run this task. So the first thing here is we make a directory called my agent and then we cd into it. So I'll go ahead here. I say, let me clear my screen. Make a directory, my agent, and cd into my agent. All right. So we go ahead to download this agent. So we copy this URL. And if we copy a URL, the way to actually go about getting that URL into your environment is using the wget command. So we use wget, and then we paste the URL here. So it's a bit slow. So once we have the URL in our repository, once we have it downloaded, the next thing is to extract it. And we extract using this command, just like it has been described by Stephanie, right? So we go ahead here. Let's ls. We can find it there. So we can say var x bzf, then this repository at this URL, sorry, this file, v. So the reason why it's showing all of this is because I use the v flag, which is to run it in verbose mode. I want to see everything that is actually doing. So if I didn't want that, I'll just remove the v from the tar command. All right. So once this is done, we need to configure the agent. And then to configure an agent, if we remember, once we make a file executable, the first thing we always do if we want to run the executable file is to use this /. So it means this config.sh is actually an executable file. If we have a user data script and we want to execute that user data script, what we always do is use this command, right? So if we go ahead, let's confirm if config.sh is present. We can see it here that it's present. So we need to run this particular config file, right? And then we click enter. So now that we are here, we have to follow certain steps to make sure that we actually configure this agent very well. So the first thing is we have to accept this license agreement. So Y for yes. So the server URL is the organization name. The organization name. So if you come back here, this is my organization. But if I want to copy it in this my own case, I copy, I come here, I paste it, enter authentication, personal access token. So we haven't created a personal access token. We can go ahead to create one. Let me terminate this process first and then create a personal access token. So moving on, I can go here for personal access token. Personal access tokens are project-based. They are not organization-based. So we have to go to our project configuration, right? And scroll down to where we have I believe they're organizational based. Let me check. Yes. So we scroll down to where we have this our profile. And then we click on user settings. If we come here in this documentation, we'll see it here. I've written it somewhere here. Okay, this is it here. In the organizational settings, click on your profile icon. In there, you click on the 3 dots, which is what I've shown here. Where is it? You click on these 3 dots, and then you click on user settings. All right. So here we said click on 3 dots to open up more options. In there, click on user settings and personal access tokens and go ahead to create a personal access token by clicking on new token. So we'll go ahead here, we go to user settings, we go to personal access tokens, and then we create a personal access token. So new token. So let's call this mini finance. Mini finance. So we give it full access and then we create it. So one thing about this key is that once you create it, make sure you copy the key, make sure you copy the above token now, because you will not be able to see it once you have closed down this tab. So I can go ahead here and then just paste my personal access token here, just to keep it in here for now. All right. So I can close this and then I can go ahead to run my config.sh again. All right. So I come here, config.sh. So we agree to the license agreement. So the server URL, like we said, is the organization name, which is this. So authentication type is personal access token. So we go ahead to copy the personal access token, but I have it in here. Okay, it did not copy. Let me go ahead to copy this. Copy. So I come here, I paste this. So it's connecting to the server. So next is to register the agent. So we are asked to input our agent pool. So since we have a self-hosted agent, we're not going to make use of the default. So we'll go ahead to where our agent is. Self-hosted. This is the name. So I can come here and then self-hosted. Let me confirm the name once more. Self-hosted. So then enter the agent's name. Agent name Ashayi Adetonwa. Well, I can use this. Agent name, you can actually put in a different name if you have it, if you want a different name. So successfully added the agent, testing agent connection. So if we come here, we'll see that the agent is offline. Even though we've configured it, the agent is still offline. We still need to actually run the agent here. And using this, sorry, I'm using Linux. So using this command, I need to run the agent, which means this file is an executable file, run.sh. So if I go ahead, I'll be able to run this command. So let me go ahead. Once this one is done, then we'll run the command. So if we scroll up here, we'll see this run.sh file, this executable file. The first one was the config.sh, which we used to actually configure this agent. But the second one is the run.sh, which is going to actually start the agent, and it will take this from being offline to being online. So going ahead, I'm going to run this /run.sh. So it's going to start listening for jobs once this runs completely. I'm waiting for it to start listening for jobs. And then it will bring this online. Can you see the status has changed to online, which means it has started listening for jobs. So the next thing, we'll go back to this. We can now go ahead to create the YAML pipeline. So we are to create a new pipeline using the YAML editor. We are to use the imported repo and define the triggers. We are meant to configure variables. We are meant to use self-hosted agents. All right. And then these are the following steps that will be required. So I've written the pipeline, right? I've written the pipeline, but first of all, let's go ahead to create the pipeline before running through what the pipeline does. So I go ahead here, I come to pipelines. So create your first pipeline. So our code is currently in Azure repos. So we're going to be selecting this option, mini finance. So we're going to be using a starter pipeline. And because I have my code here, I'm going to be using this starter pipeline. It will generate a starter pipeline code for me. But since I have another use case for it, I will have to remove all the contents of the starter pipeline and then run and then put in my own pipeline command. So it's going to generate this for me. So I have to remove this auto-generated one and then paste in my own pipeline. So while trying this code, I have written a lot of pipelines. So here, I'm going to give us a rundown of what the pipeline does. Let me copy this again. Okay, I think it's selecting an image with it. So let me go ahead. Select and copy this. Oh. All right. So for this pipeline, it's going to be triggered once we push to the main branch. That's the trigger for this pipeline. If we use another thing, then it's going to, if we use maybe a feature branch, then this place has to change to feature because that is what will trigger the pipeline. So the pool is going to change because we have configured a new pool, right? So if we go to our project, we should be able to find our agent pool. Okay, let me just look for it from here. So agent pools. So I have to change the name, self-hosted. So I have to change the name to self-hosted. Self-hosted. And then, like it was said in the instructions, that we should also configure variables. So I configured some variables in here. The SSH service, this is our service connector. So we have to come to our service connector and look for it. All right, so I'm looking for, okay, let me just look for the service connector right here of these organization settings. Project settings is under service connection. So mini finance service connector name. So I'm going to use this name in my pipeline. So service connector. Let me check the name once again. Oh, mini finance SCM. Sorry. Finance SCM. So if we were to follow what was done in Udemy, please, we have to use this Ubuntu Nginx SSH. This is the connector that we have actually meant. This is the name, but because I had created it, that was why I'm using this particular name. So this is the temporary folder that the file that is going to be copied to. In our virtual machine, this is the folder that will be, this is the temporary folder that will act as the source. And then the destination folder will be this web root. So we have just one stage and just one job and just one step, but we have several tasks to do. We have 2 tasks to do actually. So for this task, we are going to be copying from we're going to be copying using SSH to copy from the source folder to this temporary folder on our virtual machine. And now from our virtual machine, we're now going to use Nginx to actually expose this our application. This reminds me of something. For our Ansible, if we remember very well, we were told to use Ansible to actually run this to ensure Nginx is installed. So one of the things that we actually should have done is from this our terminal that we've added Ansible, we're actually meant to run an Ansible command or a playbook. But in this case, I'm going to be using an ad hoc command. But before I even do that, let me see if this server if I can actually ping this server. So let me go ahead and do this. Ansible -i inventory.ini. Oh, sorry. Ansible -i inventory.ini web inventory.ini, then -m ping. I think this is the command for it. Okay, I'm not in the Ansible directory. That is why we're having this particular error. So I have to cd into Ansible and then run this command again. So if we can ping it, then we can now use the ad hoc command to actually install Nginx. But in my pipeline script, I installed Nginx anyways, so it will still actually do the same thing. But let's go ahead and see if it actually pings. So it pings, which is successful. So I can now run the ad hoc command to actually install Nginx as according to how we were told to do it. So this is the ad hoc command right here. So we are using this web, which is one of our hosts. We are using this inventory.ini file, and we are using the apt module to actually confirm that Nginx is present. And then we are going to be using the sudo user, super user for this. So I can go ahead and run this. Since I can ping, then it should be able to run this effectively. So which means I have to comment this part out of my pipeline since I already have Nginx installed. So I can come here to my pipeline. Instead of installing Nginx, I can just comment this out since Nginx is already getting installed through Ansible. So I'm waiting for this to run. I'm waiting for this to run. Then go ahead to run our pipeline, which is the last stage of the task. So there are some things here that have been written, like for example, this export Debian frontend is to make sure that it's non-interactive. I don't want to see anything running. I don't want to see anything displaying to me to actually maybe click or type yes somewhere or type okay somewhere or type anything somewhere. I want it to be non-interactive. And while running this command, I also saw that we can actually install Nginx using this -qq command. -qq is basically to run it in quiet mode. You don't want to see anything. You don't want it to prompt anything. You don't want it to bring out anything or ask you or prompt anything or ask you to do anything. So this actually helps to install Nginx in quiet mode. So the next thing is to remove everything in the web root. This web root is a variable and it's being called out here, web root, var www.html. So that means we're trying to say remove everything in var www.html and then copy everything from the temporary folder, this temporary folder /tmp/minifinance, right? That is on our virtual machine, and copy everything into web root and copy everything into this particular directory. All right. And then from there, we can go ahead to change the permissions for that directory, and then we restart Nginx. All right. So right now, Nginx is already installed. So if I go ahead if I go ahead here and then let's say I SSH into this particular server, I want to run sudo systemctl status nginx. Let me just see if nginx is actually installed. So cd back. So, okay. So I can say ssh-i, or let me open up another terminal. So I can say ssh-i home/.ssh/minifinance, right? Azure user at this public IP address. So we want to see if Ansible actually installed Nginx for us. So I can do sudo systemctl status Nginx. Okay, so Nginx is present and is running. So basically Ansible actually installed Nginx for us. So going ahead, we have this pipeline. I already explained what the pipeline does. We've declared these variables, and then we've used these variables at various sites of our project where we have to copy files from this particular repository /tmp/minifinance to /var/www/html. So I can save this. I can commit this and say Azure pipeline to deploy mini finance app. So we are committing directly to the main branch because that is what will trigger this pipeline. And then we can save and run this. So it's asking me here that permission is needed. So I can view this and then permit. So once I permit, I can check my pipeline and see what is going on in there. I'm actually hoping for this pipeline to fail so that we'll be able to troubleshoot together. If it works, then we'll make it fail and then we'll troubleshoot. All right, so it's currently installing Nginx and copying files. Then it should run the second task because we have two tasks defined. So it should install Nginx and copy files. So it's checking out. It's making sure that this thing is available for our server. So it's uploading files to our remote repository. But if you see here, it's setting up a connection to this remote server. That's the only way it can copy those files. So it has to actually SSH into it and then copy those files. So I think this step is done. I think it's uploading. Could be that because I opened up this pipeline. That is why it's not working. Can anyone still hear me? I've been presenting since I don't even know if anyone is
Yes, we
actually
can hear
hearing
you.
me.
No, we
Oh,
can
okay,
hear
can
you.
hear you.
okay. I've just been talking. I didn't even know if anyone was actually hearing me. So let's go ahead and check this.
Can you open the
Pipeline is
terminal
taking.
where your job is listening from?
Okay, to see if he's actually listening for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still there.
Is it this one?
Yes, this is it.
Okay. Okay.
So if it fails, I might try to rerun it. But my guess is that, I was checking if Nginx was running. So it could be that maybe I opened up because I opened up another terminal. But let's wait and see if it works. And if it doesn't work, then maybe we'll have to rerun the pipeline again. So let me see. Maybe I will stop the pipeline and start it again. The build was cancelled. Okay. So let me go ahead and start the pipeline again.
Within data constraints,
Why the pipeline?
Sorry? Hello?
decisions. So in healthcare and life
Why
sciences,
why the pipeline?
Hello? Hello?
I'm saying why the pipeline got stuck.
Okay. One of my guess for this pipeline being stuck is I used my terminal to check if Azure was running. So it could be that because I was inside of that server, that is why this one was getting stuck. So now to stop this particular terminal and try to rerun the pipeline to see if it would actually work. If it doesn't work, then I'll have to go into my code and see if there's something wrong with my pipeline code. And then from there, we can start the debugging process. So if it doesn't work, then I have to go ahead
No, I
to
didn't.
my pipeline code and
See,
check.
Ashay, I didn't get actually your voice. Your voice was not clear. I didn't get. Just turn off your video, then just speak. Because when you are using your video.
Okay. So what I said was when I installed. Hello? Hello?
standard operating procedures to make
Yeah.
Hello, sir. Can you still hear me?
nested and distributed data.
Yes,
Yes,
I
go
can.
ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay. So what I was saying is when I started this particular job, I was inside of this server. Well, I installed Nginx on this server, right? So I was still inside this server when I was running this particular job. So because I had done this project initially, I feel like it should not take this long to upload the files to copy the files to our server, right? So I had to first of all terminate this session and then rerun my pipeline. It's just one of the debugging steps as to why this thing is actually taking longer than usual to copy the files. So if this doesn't work now, then I can go ahead to check my pipeline code and see if there was any misconfiguration in there. So I'm just trying to look at the debugging steps for, sir? Hello? Hello?
Ashay, please go ahead.
Yeah, please
Okay.
go ahead. We can listen to you.
Go
No
ahead.
problem.
Okay. So it's still taking longer than usual. I would still like to stop the pipeline and check if something is wrong in my configuration. So let me go ahead and stop this. Or let me still see. My agent is online, right? This is my personal access token. I need to check this service connection name, mini finance SCN. Okay. So let's go ahead. Oh, it has completed. I don't know why I had to take that long to actually complete. It shouldn't take this long. So the next step is
Can you show me the code? Can you show?
Okay, my code, my pipeline code, right? Hello?
Yes, your pipeline code.
Okay. Has finished running. Sorry, this. Yeah. So this is it. This is my pipeline code. So I'm using a self-hosted code and I define the variables in here. And then since I'm just running, it's just a single stage. It's a single stage job. And then it's just doing one particular job, but the tasks are two. So the first task will be to upload the files to the virtual machine. And then it's going to upload to the /tmp folder of the virtual machine. And then from the /tmp folder, it's going to remove all the files in the web root where Nginx saves content, and then replace it with the files copied from the /tmp folder. Then it will restart Nginx. That is what I've written here. So let me test if the let me test if deployed. My screen is slowing down. So right here, I'm trying to.
Ashai, can we
trying to
see
get-
that terminal where your job was running?
This? Do you mean this?
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, it's okay.
Yes, I wanted to first confirm from
Can we see
the
the final website is loading? Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to confirm from here before I come to this particular place to actually check if it's actually done. But we can also see it from the terminal here. We can also see it from the pipeline that it actually ran. So one of the errors that I faced while trying to deploy this project was with the pipeline code that I wrote. So in that pipeline code, there was a particular part where I did not use an interactive session, and then it was giving me an error. It was showing an error message about the fact that it had something to do with standard output and standard inputs. At some point, it was something about a dump terminal. So, but all was pointing to the fact that we are meant to actually run this in a non-interactive mode. That is why if you see in my configuration, I was adding -QQ, which is to run in quiet mode so that it will suppress all the things that it was actually meant to show on the console. If it was to prompt us, it would not prompt us. So those measures were effectively put in place to make sure that we don't fall into, our pipeline doesn't break at that particular point. So I believe that is what the assignment is all about in this particular case. So we've already verified the deployment. We can access it, and we can see that the website is saved successfully. So this is like Sabu Prenda said, this is not my money. This is just the index.html file. So anyways,
We can make
that's what
that
the
money, no
project is
issues.
about.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. So I believe if the pipeline is running now. I
Just
think
want to
you
ask a question,
can scroll
Shai.
through it and see if everything is. Sir? Hello?
I want to ask a question.
You want to ask a question?
Yes, I want to ask a question.
I will have muted. I will have said I should mute you, but go ahead. All right, I'm with you, sir.
Just wanted to know about PAT. Actually, you said that for the PAT, you said that it is not like organizational resource. It is we can say the project.
Based.
Okay. Okay. So let me correct you. We can use the PAT means we can make the scope of PAT throughout the organization. Okay, because when I was doing the project, I use the same PAT for my 2 projects in my organization.
Okay.
So you can say the PAT is having the scope for the organization also. Okay, it is not like it is for the specific project. You can, yeah, the PAT you can use it. The PAT is having the scope for the organization, but you can use the PAT for a single organization, not for the multiple organization. Okay, you can use PAT for a single organization. That point
you can use
I
the
wanted to
PAT
add.
for a single organization. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Suppose for this in the enterprise, suppose we are having different organizations, so we can use a single PAT for a single organization. So you can say it is not the organization resource, but the scope is for the entire organization. Okay, we can say like that.
Okay. Okay. So we can say that we can actually
Okay,
use
so
a personal access token for the entire organization if we wish to.
no,
Right?
see, if you will use that, so yeah, so you have to make a global PAT key, but the global PAT is not recommended for the projects and all. Okay, so we can say if there is a PAT, so we can make the scope for that PAT for the organization we are working on. Okay.
Okay. I understand it now. So we can confine our personal access token to a particular scope, to a particular organization that, okay, these are the people that will be allowed to use this personal access token. Not necessarily that is project-based or organization-based. Something like that.
Correct. It is not, it is not the a project-based, or it is not the organization-based. It is having the scope, and the scope is for the entire organization, for a single organization. For the another one, you can't use that PAT key. You are not allowed to do that.
All right. Thank you so much, sir.
And one more thing, like you used Ansible. Yeah, it is shared, I think. And one more thing, like your resources were taking time to upload the file. So maybe because in your code there was something I seen that your Nginx, you just comment the command, but in the above code I have to look after it. But it was like the code itself, it is asking for the Nginx installation. So but you already installed your Nginx through your Ansible. So maybe it was trying to replace that Nginx, and again it was installing. That's why it was taking time. So you have to work on code complexity also. Okay, don't use another tool. If you are using, just go with the pipeline. Then you have to put your code in pipeline. Don't go with the another tool.
Okay,
it is
because
like
the
you are
the
having a
assignment
single
specification.
Okay, fine. Okay. Then it is okay. But see, we have to be, if you want to stick on a single, because it is like you are having a single lock, but you are having 2 keys. One is with you, one is with the another person. It is like that. So we have to use only one key. So it is like that maybe. So that's why it was taking time.
Okay. But I tried it previously and then it did not take this long. So I first thought the job was still being queued here. That maybe it's still in queue, maybe that's why. But I saw that the first job already ran. So it should not take that much time. But I would look into it. Thank you so much, sir. When I wanted to understand agents and agent pools. I remember Sir Pravin is always telling Sir Pravin to remove who is not joining on video. So Sir Pravin will be looking who is not on video at this moment and he will remove us. So that was how I got to understand what agents and agent pools are.
Great.
So can I stop sharing my screen now?
Yeah, your screen is shared, I think. Yeah, we can see your screen.
Okay. So
Yeah,
I've stopped sharing my screen now.
Nice presentation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Anjana. I was sweating to my trousers the first time I was doing this presentation when Anjana was with me. I was sweating through my trousers. Anjana would say, calm down. I say, yes, I will calm down.
You did it very well.
Yes, very well. Excellent.
All right, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, so tomorrow when we can meet? I mean, it's a 21-hour IST, right?
Yes, sir. 21 IS.
What about ET?
For ET, means ET is for which country? Like, I'm not getting it.
Helsinki time, ET.
Okay, Helsinki time. So for Helsinki, let me
18 hours, 18:30, right?
Yeah, maybe. So actually, I have to check. It is where is the clock? CLOCK. My God. Yeah, Helsinki is like -2 hour 30 minutes from. So it is like 2 घंटे तो ये हो गए 5 7 8 hours. So we have to deduct 8 hours. So it is like नहीं 8 hours क्यों होगा? Yes, around 8 hours.
So it is
Sorry,
6:30. 6:30.
Yeah, 6:30 either.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, say
Yeah,
Bhupenda.
around
Sorry.
6:30.
What is time in Zimbabwe? When you will join?
Yes, I will join. Like I wanted to ask.
Okay.
I wanted to ask Sepupenda over there, like the Helsinki time, is it EET or EEST?
No, ET, not
See,
EST.
you can
ET.
see. I have shared my screen. I have shared my screen. See,
Yes,
if you will type like CLOCK, if you will type clock, you have to click on the clock. Then here it is the world clock. Okay, so you can set like these 4 time zone I have set it. Okay, so for you, it is for me like local time. So you can add this. See, here is the add, and like let me type Zimbabwe. Okay, okay, sorry. Harare, Zimbabwe. I have to add. Okay. See, now I can see 5 countries like right now it is 7:42 at your end. Okay, so whenever we are posting the time for Helsinki, so you can check here. Okay, in the Windows also there is a tool, the clock itself, world clock is there, so you can set your timings accordingly. So it is saying like that. So you can see this map. This is the US, this is Helsinki, this is India, this is Perth, this is Zimbabwe.
Very
so
good.
accordingly it is showing the time. So in the Windows
so when
itself, there is a tool.
When we are posting now here, we are following the Helsinki time, right?
Yes, it's
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So you can check like
right,
right now in the Helsinki, it is 8:42 p.m.
8:42.
It is the current time in the Helsinki. Okay, it is the current time. For me, it is 11:12 p.m. Okay, for Zimbabwe, we can say it is 7:42. Okay, so you can use this gadget. It is in the Windows itself. Don't follow that one which I shared on Zoom. You can use this one. Okay.
Okay, yeah, it's okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so for tomorrow's session, we will be using the Helsinki time or the
I think in many
EET.
cases, what we're seeing today
Is it the same
We
thing?
are always following Helsinki time. We are always
Okay,
following Helsinki time.
Okay. So here is
So you just
6:43.
add, you just use this.
underlying workflow.
Yeah, you just use this world clock and put the Helsinki, and your local time is also there. So you can see whenever you will click in this clock, you will see the Helsinki time. So whenever the time match, just attend the meeting.
Yeah, remember time is 18 hours, 18:30.
18:30. So yes, you have to check 6:30 p.m. So whenever 6:30 p.m. is here, just join the meeting.
All right, sir.
So I was reading some post on LinkedIn. So that
Okay, guys, we are good to go. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow at the same
Thank
time.
you, Sir Praveen. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
You give
Thank
us
you so
200
much.
or 200 marks.
200 marks?
200 marks.
Why 200 marks? 100 marks, right?
I'm just joking. All right, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, no
Yes,
problem.
sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, sir.
Thank you, sir. Bye bye.
Bye. Good night.
on how a company adopts.
So I'm completely understand